Layout managers determine where components go within a container and what happens when a window gets resized. Java has about half a dozen layout managers. Border layout is the default for all content panes. Box layout and flow layout are probably the simplest, and flow layout is the default for JPanel components, which are what we have been using for our custom content panes. Grid bag layout is probably the most flexible and complex layout manager if you're coding by hand. Grid layout is just a simplified version of grid bag layout, and group layout is the layout manager used by GUI builder applications. Here's a look at how the three simplest layout managers work when they're resized. Border layout has borders on all four sides of the area in the center. The left and right borders always maintain the same width, and the top and bottom borders always maintain the same height. The center area expands in both directions. Box layout always respects components' requested maximum sizes. It puts components into a single row or a single column and allows you to align components simply and easily. Flow layout lays out components in a single row, and it will start a new row if the container is not wide enough for all the components. The components may be left justified or right justified when the wrapping occurs, depending on what the programmer chooses. Layouts can easily be used in combination with one another or even nested inside one another. The bottom figure on this slide uses two layouts. The top part has a top to bottom box layout that includes a label and a scroll pane component, while the bottom part is a left-right box layout containing two buttons. Each of these layouts may belong to a JPanel container, and the two JPanel containers are in turn components inside of the default content pane with a top to bottom box layout. The Java tutorial recommends the grid bag layout as the most flexible but also the most complicated layout manager that you can use if you're coding by hand. It mentions that NetBeans, which is Oracle's IDE, has a GUI builder that uses group layout. Personally, I've tried the GUI builders in both NetBeans and Eclipse, and I do prefer the NetBeans GUI builder, but I encourage you to try both and see which one you prefer. Here's a small project that involves creating a temperature converter with the help of the NetBeans GUI builder. The steps here are fairly self-explanatory, though you may have to play around with the builder a bit to get everything working properly. This is a good place to pause the video and try creating the temperature converter for yourself. Now, these instructions are for the NetBeans GUI builder, but you should be able to use the one in Eclipse also with just a little bit of tweaking. If you're having trouble doing this, refer to the Java Swing tutorial in the trail called Learning Swing with the NetBeans IDE. That's where this example is taken from. Please pause the video and see if you can complete this mini project. I'll give you 5 seconds to pause the video starting from now. Okay, were you able to get the project working? I hope so. In the next video, we'll look at how to create simple graphic elements in a GUI.